Hello everyone, Lawrence here from Unicorn Reviews, and in today's video we're reviewing the Astro A20 wireless gaming headset. Now, if you've asked me for advice over the past couple of years concerning headsets, I would have just told you to buy a pair of really good audiophile headphones and then add a microphone later, so that could be a mod mic or a standalone microphone, whatever. But today I decided to give this headset a go. Now, as you can see, this is the Xbox One version. There's also a PlayStation 4 version, which is going to be incredibly similar, and both versions also work on PC, which is what I use to test all these headsets. Now, at this €170 price point, you do expect to get at least a few accessories in the box. So in this box, you get a SPDIF cable, so that's for your optical audio when you connect it to your Xbox, and then there are also two USB cables. One of them connects to the included little box, and this is of course the transmitter box, and then from there you can also charge the headphone itself, or you can just charge it with your phone charger, for example. Now, the box itself is very small, bit, shiny plastic on there. I'm not a big fan of that. On the front is an LED to show you that you're connected. On the back is a toggle to switch between inputs, so Xbox, optical or USB PC. And that's basically it. That's all you get in this box. So then, moving on to the headset itself, as you might expect, the A20 is in between the A10 and the A30 in the product range. Now, what that means is that you don't really get all the super fancy customization pads on the side or different ear cups. You're stuck with what you buy, but you do still get bomb-proof build quality. It is a bit plasticky, which makes the unit feel, I guess, a bit cheaper than €170, but the use of all the soft touch plastics and the rubber means that it's just very flexible, so it won't break if you accidentally sit on it or if you throw it away when you're rage quitting. Overall build quality is actually pretty good. In my opinion, comfort is the most important aspect of a headset. You'll be wearing this thing for, God knows, 10-12 hours on end if you're going for really long gaming sessions or productivity sessions, because it's okay for that as well, as we'll see later. And the Astro A20 gets most things right in terms of comfort. So the headband itself has stepless adjustment, so it fits on this massive ghost head, but it also fits on smaller heads. Clamping force, despite head size, stays okay, so it's not going to clamp your ears too hard. And the ear cups are made of this very breathable, very plush, soft material. It's like your head's getting hugged from both sides. It's actually quite nice feeling. Slight negative though is the headband itself. It's very narrow, and the padding on there combined with the rubber actually means that it pulls your hair ever so slightly, and it's a pressure point as well on top of your head, and that can create a bit of a hot spot. So I would really like just to get the same materials from the ear cups on top of the headband, although that might then make it slide around more. Now, being a wireless headset, it actually runs on the 5 GHz band, so that means you won't really get interference from microwaves or extra Wi-Fi, so sound quality should be the same no matter when, as long as you're in range. Range, however, is actually pretty limited. I can move around here in the studio, no problem, but for example, when I go one floor lower, it loses connection. If I go into the next room, I lose connection, and that may not really be an issue for a lot of people, but when you use this, for example, to watch movies and you go to the fridge, you don't want the audio to drop when you're in the fridge. So I would really like to get more range out of it. Now, with wireless headsets, you also need control over the headset, and all the controls are on the right ear cup. So on the top, there is the power button, which will obviously turn it on or off, but it will also turn itself off if you haven't been using it for quite some time. Just to save battery power, it'll turn itself off, which is a nice feature, as long as you remember to turn it back on when you start using it again. Below that button is the equalizer button. Now, this equalizer button has 3 presets pre-programmed, but you can create your own presets through the Astro Commander software, which I'll talk about later. Now, the feature that made Astro Gaming famous really is the ability to change volume levels independently between voices, so people talking in your TeamSpeak or whatever that is on Xbox. Is it Skype? I don't know, I'm not an Xbox user, but you can basically change between your teammates talking and the game audio, and for that, on the bottom there are also 2 buttons. So you can make the voices louder or you can make the music louder, and in between there's a volume dial, and I think this is probably the worst placement for a volume dial ever. It's okay when I'm wearing this sweater, but when you wear anything with a hood or just a higher collar, what tends to happen is the volume wheel will actually rub on your collar whenever you look to the side, and so you'll be adjusting the audio levels without really wanting to. So it would be nice, for example, if you could just turn off the volume wheel. Now before finally talking about how it sounds, I want to discuss battery life. Astro rated at 15 hours and they're basically spot on. Battery life is 15 hours with this one. So let's now move to microphone quality, a very important aspect. This is what the Astro A20's boom microphone sounds like, and here's how it deals with typing in the background. And this is what my Logitech C922 sounds like, and this is what it does with background noises. And right now you're listening to the Antlion Mod Mic for Business, and of course again with typing in the background. So as you could hear back there, voices are pretty clear, but you know, it's obviously not a professional studio microphone. It's good enough though to have conversations with your teammates, for example. I would like it to be slightly louder, but it actually does a really good job of keeping away background noise. So for example, in my case, a mechanical keyboard, you can still hear it, but normal membrane keyboards, and especially gamepads, being an Xbox gaming headset, will not really be audible whatsoever. So that's pretty good. So now for sound quality, and this is an aspect that really surprised me actually. I really had my reservations, you know, it has Xbox branding and gaming on there, so usually that means it's gonna have horrible sound quality. But the A20 really surprised me. It actually sounds really good. That sound quality though was after going into the Astro Command Center on my computer and updating it and then creating my own equalizer. Now what's really handy is that you can just create your own equalizer and share it with your friends, or download an equalizer from some pros or something to really get the best sound out of it. And you really have to do that because standard profiles are just way too bass heavy. And even adjusting it to a flat equalizer, it's still a little bit bass heavy, but it's not too much. And the bass is quite crisp as well. Overall sound is a bit V-shaped even with a flat EQ, so that means voices are very clear, and it's also very clear to know where gunshots, for example, are coming from, so the basses again. Now I would really like a slightly more supportive mid-range, and you can do that through the equalizer again, but you do start losing quality in the mid-range when you start messing with that equalizer too much. Now being a closed back headset, so that means the driver is completely sealed from the outsides, it gives you okay sound isolation, so you won't hear what's going on around you too much, but remember it is still a mesh ear cup, so it's not going to completely block every noise out there. And being closed back, the soundstage is also rather limited. Now this is a bit of an issue to me when listening to music, but when gaming it was actually okay. I could very easily figure out where my enemies were. So in PUBG, for example, it's quite easy to get that chicken dinner. I did it on my first game with this headset because you can just hear where your enemies are. Now a lot of people think you need surround headsets for that. That's complete rubbish. You have 2 ears and the speakers are right to your ear, so you don't need 7 speakers, for example. If you get a good stereo headset, you can get equally good soundstage and positional audio. So that's really nice. It actually does a really good job of reproducing sounds. So then to conclude my review on the A20, I really like it. Now there are better sounding headphones and better sounding microphones. Some will be more comfortable, others will, you know, have a longer range, for example, but it's a very good middle ground with the A20, and it's super easy to use. It's just plug and play, and then you of course have to remember that for Xbox users, for example, it's a really easy way to just make the voices of your teammates go louder. On PC, obviously, you can just slide that Discord slider in the volume mixer up higher, but that's not possible on consoles. So Astro really has a very unique selling point there, and it actually works, so that's great. Things that I would complain about, I would really like to see a wider headband, or at least a slightly softer, more breathable material up there so you don't get hot spots, and the volume wheel needs a lockout mode so I don't adjust the noise. Anyway guys, if you like this video, please press that like button. Hit the subscribe button for next week's video, which is on that microphone right there. It's actually a super cheap, really good quality microphone if you're a vlogger or a game streamer. And yeah, you can get more frequent updates than those weekly videos by checking out that Instagram link. I'll put it up here actually. That's the Instagram. And if you want to support the channel, like the awesome people on your screen right now, you know, with audio quality, lights, lenses, maybe a new camera, a monitor on there, who knows. There's a Patreon link for that, so I can really improve the quality of the videos that I make. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.